So for these groups of people, like the ones that you see coming off the boat here, Nickelodeons, these very cheap movie theaters, represented a moment of pleasure away from the harsh working conditions in which they found themselves for the majority of the week. The Nickelodeon was also an opportunity for community, for these immigrants and working class folks to kind of get together and take a load off, you might say. So they were not only cheap, they were also accessible. So I have some figures for you here. Look at these. In 1907, we had roughly 150 cheap theaters in the Chicago area. By that same time the next year, in 1908, it had doubled to 300 cheap theaters or Nickelodeon theaters in the Chicago area. Now in Chicago, the daily attendance at these around this time period was 200,000 people a day. Nationwide, it was about 2 million. So lots of Chicagoans, working class immigrants and otherwise, were definitely watching movies in the early part of the 20th century. And immigrants, like the ones that you see on the right-hand side of your screen, you have to remember, spoke little to no English, and they had, as I mentioned a moment ago, very little money for other entertainment forms. And also, immigrants like this Albanian woman, she didn't need to speak English to watch a silent movie, right? You're still going to laugh at Charlie Chaplin falling down or slipping on a banana peel or roller skating. You don't have to speak English in order to find that humorous. So the success of these cheap theaters was linked to a massive influx of immigrants into Chicago. And while working class and immigrant Chicagoans like these on the left-hand side of your screen really loved these cheap theaters, these middle-class Chicagoans right below me detested these cheap theaters. They also did not like what the theaters were showing, which they thought were immoral and indecent images. And that basically boils down to 4 things: robbery, murder, crime, and sex. Sex being a big one, which we'll find out in just a second.